The Alliance blog, the Alliance blog, the Alliance blog, the Alliance blog. Alliance? If you put an S in front of Alliance, you have Alliance. That's me.
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive Pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
Hey guys, check this out. I am officially now sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink made to give you focus with no crash. If you guys are like me, you're always needing a burst of energy, especially with one with no crash. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. It keeps me awake with no jitters, guys. Check it out. Merch link is in the bio. Dubby.
Alright, here we go. Alright. So, first of all, nice to finally sit down with you.
Yeah.
Shane, my name is Jay Cal. I'm from the Alliance blog.
Oh, good.
And believe it or not,
Met.
yeah, well, I think we have, but like I've been following your career for like, goddamn, ever.
2008?
At least.
Well, that's when we would have met. 2008, 9.
Well, I was following you when you were doing stuff with EPW Perth back in the day, the tag team back then. This is more for the audio anyways.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
The visual, good audio.
Well, yeah, and actually, 2008, I met you and Mikey at a Hollywood taping.
Yep, I remember that, yeah.
And that was after the famous IHOP for breakfast, because you get pancakes for dinner.
Yeah.
Do you remember that promo?
Maybe.
Maybe. It was a long time ago.
I remember what I said last week.
That's fair. It was
Was it the Disneyland having pancakes?
It's something like what makes America great is being able to have pancakes for breakfast and IHOP, something like that, and we popped for you.
Yeah.
Because we love IHOP.
Yeah. IHOP International House.
So there's
I
been
think it was more of a Denny's guy anyway.
You were, or you still are?
I'm a make them at home guy. I'm a body guy now.
Oh,
I'm not 23, 22 anymore.
That's true. Well, you throw the protein in there and get that all ready?
Too much effort for me.
Yeah, okay.
My breakfast is Greek yogurt, granola, and like a bagel. So I got protein and some carbs and like raisins and stuff.
You look great. Whatever you're doing, keep it up.
Yeah, well, helps.
I'm not trying to hit on you, but
If it happens, it happens.
Well, I'm not going to say no.
It's early.
There's consent forms to be signed later.
We're married men.
We are.
So it's okay.
It's okay. It's not cheating if the wives know about it.
It's July. We're okay.
It's June.
It's June.
Right.
It's June. I've been thinking it's June for the last 2 months.
Because you're just really excited about tonight's show.
That's it. I've just been like amped for this the whole time.
So let's talk about a little bit about Perth, EPW.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you started off there. Were you trained by David Storm?
Yes.
And
David Storm, Tyler Jacob, who's at the park, I think Carnage. I don't feel like guys around there not really doing it anymore. But,
what got you into it? What got you into pro wrestling?
Action movies, man. Like watching action movies and Power Rangers.
That's awesome.
Jackie Chan movies, awesome to me, because they're stunt shows. Pro wrestling is like a live action stunt show. I grew up wanting to be a Power Ranger, as most kids would, but acting and remembering stuff doesn't really go with me that well. So, yeah, wrestling was just a martial arts growing up, and as soon as there was somewhere to start training wrestling, I did it.
So, the natural transition from action star to pro wrestler, fan of action movies or pro wrestling seems pretty easy. When you were watching the movies, did you ever at any point think, hey, pro wrestling could lead me to where I want to be? Like, could that open the door for you?
I think, so I didn't really, like, as a kid, I didn't really know what acting. I did, but, like, it was the stunts and stuff like that. So I am where I want to be.
Oh, perfect.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As you get older, and you can tell with like a lot of wrestlers' careers, like switching to acting is a good idea. If it ever becomes available, I'm down for it. I've been in a movie.
Yeah.
I've been in a movie in South Korea. I played a guy, I think his name was Mark Robinson.
Mark Robinson.
An old 70s, 60s wrestler. It was a biopic about Ricky Rozan.
Oh, okay.
And like his trainer and stuff like that. And I played the American, fully tattooed, in TMDK gear.
Nice.
Ezekiel Jackson played Bobo Brazil in it. Yeah, so we spent like a week in South Korea. This is when I was already living in Japan.
Yeah.
And I'd done a show. We did a weekend with a company in South Korea as well for Chicken Mania. Everyone knows Chicken Mania.
Yeah, of course.
And then so it's the same people, I guess they could. And then that was one guy that they knew. So I'm like, hey, do you want me to do like tattoos with like sports tape or something?
Yeah.
Like, nah.
What about an accent? Did they ask you to do like an English accent, an American accent?
I had no idea.
Perfect.
It was just action scenes.
Nice.
That I'm aware of. I've never seen the movie. Who knows if it ever came out?
We got now I'm gonna do the deep dive looking for that
if
one.
you can find it, man, like that, tell me. I want to see it.
Let me ask you this, because when I describe you to people who aren't familiar with you, I'm like, do you remember WWE No Mercy, the game, the Nintendo game?
That and Shut Your Mouth, I think, or Here Comes the Pain. Those ones.
I just tell people you're like the best creator wrestler on there, right? So you got all the fucking fun moves.
Yeah.
It's real exciting to watch you wrestle. Like, I don't even really know how to describe your style because of like the high flying aspect of it. I wouldn't call you a luchador, but you do a lot of high flying type style moves, a lot of high impact stuff.
I had a name for it and I forgot because, you know, old.
Yeah, of course.
Like an impact flyer.
Yeah.
Because I'm not fancy, especially not anymore.
No.
Less and less fancy as it goes. But I just use my body as a weapon.
That's the best weapon, is a good body to use as a weapon.
Yeah.
Don't listen to them. It's not defense. It's not a good plan in the offense. It's just use your body as a weapon.
Yeah. And even if it's like, just taking the other guy's moves, it's like the Homer Simpson, tying them out, like making them
Right.
Yeah.
Nice Stridder Tatum reference there.
That's it.
Who's going to win, Jake Paul or Mike Tyson?
Yeah. Tyson's out.
Oh, he is?
Jake Paul gets Logan.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
I don't either.
I don't care. Like, if Jake went out, I would have been cool. As long as it's Tyson smashing someone.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
It's extremely disappointing. Now I don't need to watch it now.
No, I don't care.
What do you think of Logan Paul as a wrestler?
Great. He's always nice to me. He puts the effort in. He shows it. Like you see, like he's training and stuff like that. People always assume like, oh, he's not training. He doesn't do it. But, like, even like, this is a thing for people who like maybe don't like other athletes coming into wrestling and shortcutting through. They're not shortcutting. They're still putting in the effort of training and athleticism in another area. Someone at the DC I work with was from something else.
Wasn't Bad Bunny, was it?
I had a little run with that buddy here in Burbank and did some stuff with him. Very nice guy.
Yeah.
Super keen for everything. We're doing head systems, man. He was just eating shit. And he was like, his manager or whatever had to be like, maybe stop for a minute. I think it was a UFC fighter or something like that. And or an Olympics. I can't remember, but I'm like, they just picked everything up straight away.
It wasn't Gable Stevenson, was it?
No, I was going by name. There was someone, but like they just picked everything up because they're trained to learn and to be adaptable, especially like UFC fighters. It's not too far off, and other collegiate wrestlers, it's not exactly different.
Right.
I think I did a little bit of time with Tito too. It's like in the ring, like half an hour or something. And they were teaching him like headlocks. And he was doing these real pokey headlocks. I'm like, how would you do it if you were in the octagon? He goes, like this. And I'm like, do that. And he just did a perfect headlock. And they also know, like a lot of jiu-jitsu guys know how to train without like having to rip someone's head
Right,
off.
like 3/4 speed.
Yeah, and pressure, they know the pressure. Like that's something that they're even better at. So Logan Paul, he trained to be a boxer, so he has discipline.
Yeah.
For how undisciplined he seems as a person.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think, and again, I look at Logan Paul and I'm like, what a perfect transition from, vlogger, YouTuber, whatever, to pro wrestler. It's almost like the perfect match for him.
Yeah, it works very good.
Speaking of perfect matches, what's your favorite match of all time? Your match, specifically, you in the ring.
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
Oh, none of them.
None of them? You hate every of them?
No, I hate all of them. I have fond memories of like the 2012 or 2013. Maybe 2013 run we had with the GHC heavyweight tag titles.
That was a good time.
We have a string of, I think, 3 or 4 films I really enjoy.
Did you watch any of Tanaka like when he was in ECW? Did you?
We had those like 3 DVDs, like Guilty as Charged, Hardcore, and Barely Legal.
Yeah.
And like those were like in any video store in Australia, those 3 were there. Yeah.
So you were familiar.
Yeah. Definitely.
So the transition from working in EPW, working in Australia, moving to the United States, you were living here in California. Were you a part of the NWA house? Or was that after you or before you?
No, that was before. Wait, the one in
San Bernardino?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Was it as crazy as the stories I've heard?
Maybe.
You don't remember, huh?
I do remember. I don't know, like, to me, they're not crazy.
Sure.
Like, I've lived in dojos and stuff too, man. Like,
Yeah.
And back in Australia, they have 5 guys, so, like...
It's pretty typical stuff.
Yeah, just boys being boys.
Sure.
Probably, yeah. Probably great we didn't have cameras and...
Social media was benefited coming later for
We
you.
were a bunch of dorks, so we weren't doing anything bad. We were just dorks, ribbing each other.
Right.
Yeah. With Greg Sharp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hyper Street.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have a photo with him with his pants down. He's Winnie the Pooh. Great story. Like, we're all razzing something in our room. The room's like separate. He comes in, does something. It's like me, Marcus Pitt. I can't remember who else. And then he joined us, whatever, razzing, and then he goes to his room, and we're like, let's go do it to him in his room. And we bust in the room, and he's just wearing a t-shirt. And he's like, in 2 seconds, he'd taken his pants off.
Shit.
And I just happened to be like, you don't see anything.
Sure.
But it's just the funniest, like in 2 seconds, he went from having, I swear, this is how I'm going to tell the story. He had full lace-up boots,
Right.
knee pads and pants, and in that second, he's out of them.
The kick pads, everything.
Yeah, he had them all.
You just tear away, you know?
Tear away. But yeah, we used to have
So
parties there. It was just a real good, fun, supportive place. And like people would come, like Chris Cadillac would come by all the time.
Cadillac, good friend of mine. Love that guy.
Very good. Yeah.
When you got here to the United States, how much culture shock was it for you? I mean, obviously, we speak mostly the same language, so that's really cool. The food isn't too, crazy.
Just the portion sizes, I think, also were, and how cheap everything was. Because at the time, I think the Australian dollar was doing very well.
Yeah.
Like even dollar for dollar, if not just a little over. But how expensive Perth is, especially now, which I don't know, to what was to Americans, it was like a holiday, man. Like I'd been working for 9 months, and then I'd come here for a 3-month holiday visa and just hang out and stuff like that. So I wasn't making any money while I was over here. It was all about the experience, but the money that I'd saved up back home and taken my holidays and that here, it was so much fun.
Did it open up the doors for you to get to Pro Wrestling Noah being here?
That's in 2010 when we did the Harley race thing.
Yeah.
That definitely helped. But then having the confidence of Mikey and I. So how Mikey and I became a tag team was we were both coming back and forth from Australia to America.
Yeah.
And every time you go away for a while and come back, you'd start at the bottom again. And you're like, we'll find a spot for you, we'll find you. It gets tiring. So we were like, well, what if we just team together and then at least we have a friend and we're having fun. I know a lot of stories of people at no dojo, guys who go by themselves, they go crazy because they just it's not to hang out with. So that's one of the best cultures in wrestling is hanging out. Everyone getting along. It's great at the moment, especially compared to the old days weren't that bad, but these days everyone's so supportive of each other, so open-minded. Everyone's here to have fun and help. Me and Mike did have each other, and then we were like, let's go do this camp because we'd heard good things from other people about it. And then because we'd come through here and experience stuff together, we were like, whatever happens, happens. We weren't stressed about it. We weren't worried about anything. We stayed at someone's back. I had a little chalet for a month. We ended up staying for 3 months. We made Darren over there, put us up to his place, his wife, and his wife and I have kids now. And we just weren't worried about things, like we weren't making any money, and then we did the Harley race camp, and that wasn't that expensive when you look back at it. It got us. Then it comes to the end of camp show, they're like, you need to get $100, $150 worth of blood work and stuff. And we're like, no thanks.
Yeah, shit.
And they're like, you don't want to be on the show? We're like, we're okay. And then we were the only ones to get picked up from the Noah representatives.
That's awesome. Was that really hands-on with Harley, or was he just kind of there in the back? Or?
Well, not hands-on. could, but he's still like, he's got a wealth of knowledge. Like, you got to do this and this and that. Like, he was there every day.
Did you have a pretty good relationship with him?
Great relationship. We like that, and then he, because now he was the first camp after his wife had passed, and she apparently did a lot of the organising for it. Okay. So the year before had like 80 people or something. That one had like 13 people. Oh wow. So it was grueling days. Like, there's not a lot of rest. And some people from no one came. I don't think anyone from New Japan came, and no one from WWE came. Yeah. So we told Harley, like, we're just going to go drive down to Florida and knock on the FCW door. And he was like, wait, I'll call them and I set something up. Yeah. And for weeks, he like called every single day, and then one day we were in the office with him and he got the call back, and like it was a huge favour to him that they did this. They flew us over, put us up at a hotel. Nice. We did a tryout there. Then flew back. Yeah, it was great. Never heard anything back. Sure. But met like Norman Smiley there, Xavier Woods, Seth Rollins was there at the time. I think Roman Reigns, all those guys were there. So that was a great experience. And that was thanks to Harley calling every day and getting this. And that was definitely a favour to him because they didn't know who the fuck we were. Right. Yeah. That's pretty awesome. And then Harley came over to Japan for a short tour of appearances and whatnot. And, we went out with him a couple nights there, and he drinks. The rumors of his drinking insane.
So Dave Marquez has told me a lot about Harley too, and the stories about him putting guys into cars, like literally putting them into the car. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like the guy was a prolific drinker and enjoyed the beverage. That was great beverage. So Pro Wrestling Noah, that's when you and Mikey really kind of hit your stride. Yeah. You guys won the tag titles, I believe, twice, right?
Yeah, 2 times. Yeah.
And what was the experience like there? Because obviously, again, another real culture shock,
Yeah, definitely. And I think we were a culture shock for them. And they were, because they're so polite, you just go along with anything. But there was points when we were staying at the dojo, and we didn't have internet there and stuff like that the first few times. Yeah. We were the office had internet, and Ricky Marvin had a little iPad we could borrow every now and again. And we found there's a supermarket down the road, 2 train stops. Yeah. And we're like, cool, we'll go do that. And we're like, all right, told the office because the dorms was below the office. We're like, hey, just to let you guys know, we're going down to the shop. And they're like, do you know how to do that? Do you know how to do that? I'm like, I drive a car and pay rent back home. I know how to take a train. I've been doing that since I was 10 years old. Sure. Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people want to mess with non-Japanese people. Tattoos, muscles,
Yeah, we have there's a thing saying the gaijin seat on the train, and that's just if you're sitting on the train, no one will sit next to you. And it's legit. They call it the gaijin seat. It's the empty seat next to any foreigner.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, so
because if you're a germaphobe, you're like, look, dude, you're good.
Yeah, no, fine. You just be polite to people there, and they're polite to you. If you're polite back, they respect it even more.
The success that you received in Pro Wrestling Noah, did that open up the eyes to the WWE, or how did you guys make the transition from hot tag team in Japan to TM61 in the WWE?
I'd say that has a huge thanks to Matt Balloon. Because when we first went to Japan, he was with Bad Intentions with Carl Anderson. Yeah. Mikey was mates with Carl Anderson from the LA Dojo days. Right. So we met all through there. And as our contracts were kind of coming up with Noah, and we'd kind of been there for 5 years at this point, and still living at the dojo, and we're like, we need more money or something like that. And it wasn't. It's just the next logical step to try and move up. So we reached out to Matt Balloon, and he got us to try out. He got us flown over there, put up, try out and everything. So it was very much thanks to him. Canyon Seaman was one of the hiring guys at the time, and he's a big beach dude, so he loves volleyball and that. So we just played up the Australia thing to him. And William Regal too. William loves Japan, obviously. So like, he knows all Japan, and a lot of the guys from all Japan, obviously in Noah. So yeah, just name dropping and sharing stories with him was definitely helped.
Is it like a traditional like job? Okay, so like I know you had to have had regular jobs in the past.
Yeah.
So is it like a job interview when you're at the performance center, or is it more like let's just talk about you as a person, as you as a wrestler?
We did that. We got to do that. There was a select few of us, more experienced people. Out of about 50 or so people. There was about 10 of us, independent and people with experience. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. I think Biff was in there too, and like we got private promo time with William Regal. And he's like, I don't really want promo, just let's chat. And we just chatted, and like he just prompted the right questions that you would talk about yourself, and it's kind of a promo.
Yeah.
It's a lot more natural. So that was like, I don't know, like me and Mikey also knew we had Japan. Like, so we weren't, another thing of like having each other, that we weren't, oh god, this is do or die, like this. And so we were a lot more casual about it, you know. It's like, cool, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Fucking go do this, try it. I had a torn ACL at the time. I just nailed it.
That's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, 6 months in, so a lot of the muscle takes over from there. But yeah, and then the next day, like they had the full blast promo thing, and everyone was telling these depressing stories, like sob stories, and like trying to pull on the heartstrings.
Yeah,
like, it's good, like one or two, but then like some people had some really dark stories.
Sure.
Really, and that's their own story. But
Right.
But then someone come in like, I always wanted to be a wrestler since I was 15 or 20 years old. And then I couldn't make it in football, so I thought, I'll do this. And I'm like, yeah, someone else just told a real life horrible story.
Right.
Don't do that. So we did another round. They did another round with everyone, and like the prompt was just talk about something like the happiest day of your life or something that you really like. Mikey kind of 5-minute promo on getting new socks. I talked about getting drunk in Japan, and it's just like, whatever, man. I was like, I'm coming back in like getting drunk in Japan and making a fool of myself. If they don't want me from this, then whatever.
Yeah. If not, I can just go back to Japan.
Yeah. So.
That's kind of a cool trump card to have. Is if it doesn't work out, there's other options for you.
It's always good to have a plan B in wrestling. You know what I mean? That's the thing too. Like, I tell anyone who asks for advice for WWE tryouts, I say just be yourself. Don't try to be what you think they want you to be, which I've seen, and I've seen people not get hired from that. And imagine like failing and trying to be something you're not. Anyone who asks for advice for WWE tryouts, I say just be yourself. Don't try to be what you think they want you to be, which I've seen, and I've seen people not get hired from that. And imagine like failing and trying to be something you're not. Like, wow, what if I was just myself?
Right.
And if you fail as yourself, at least you were yourself.
I think there's an idea this day and age now where it's like authenticity sells, right?
Yeah, 100%. It always has.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know it now. It's like it's in your face. Like, if you're not being Shane Haste, then who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Yeah, fair. You brought it up. Is that? I know you kind of have to just do what you're told in that position. Was that something that you regret? Like, did you?
No, it made me so much money. I was stuck in NXT, like, doing nothing. Like, and like NXT, especially then, like, it was a grind, and it was a lot of negative reinforcement, a lot of like do things 100 different people's ways, and and that's the way me and Mike started wrestling, and that's why we got over in Japan, was doing what we were told. Like, hey, do this, then do the slow grind and you'll get up, and then you make it your own. There, we were listening to too many people and being something we weren't. And that's one thing I regret. I regret not dying on my own sword there and like risk getting fired. Like, just fire me. Like, if you don't like this, because you do see a lot of people say nope and do what they want, and they make it. I wish we'd done a little bit more of that, but in our experience, doing the right thing and being a company man is what paid off.
Right.
So for that, saying that, like, I was in NXT for who knows how long, 4 years, something like that. Yeah. And then pandemic hit, and they just needed extras to fill out this retribution stuff, which I never got to do any of the really fun stuff where they like set cars on fire and you change. I came in after that.
No Project Mayhem for you.
No, nothing fun like that. And I was like, whatever, because we're not given much direction with that at all.
Yeah.
There was just something like this. It was more like a trial and error, more like error and error.
Right.
Where we do be like this. No, that wasn't it. Try something else. So we, at the start of it, we thought there was going to be like a lot of freedom for us, and it was going to be something really cool. And then it kind of got like it got worse and worse.
Right.
And I think too of it, like a lot of the top stars weren't there, so they were relying on this. As soon as they started getting like the travel restrictions off and they started getting the top stars back, that went to the back and they started pushing those guys again, which is fair. They're the top guys, they're getting paid more, you got to use them. But
right.
I don't like Retribution got me out of NXT onto the main roster, which it's just a lot of it's timing too, you know.
Sure.
What I mean? Like I remember one of the riders down at NXT was like, "Oh, I didn't know you wanted to go up to the main roster," and I was like, "I'll kill you."
Yeah, right.
I was like, "Oh no, I just wanted to lose every single match
Yeah,
for the rest of my life here." Which I mean, like, I'll do it. I don't give a shit. But like,
yeah, I mean, like, look, there's a bit of pride, but at the end of the day, you're just getting a paycheck. You know, you're doing something which I presume you love to do, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not working as a fucking accountant. You know?
That's it. Not in an office every day, in the same place.
Right.
But yeah, NXT was fine. Like pandemic, like was kind of good. It was kind of relaxed. The place was very high tension before that. It kind of chilled it out. But yeah, then the main roster then started to do, because I did a lot of main events before that too. Like working. I think one of my first main events with a main roster guy was Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
And it was like a breath of fresh air because NXT's, especially back then, the Black Gold was just go.
Right.
I was working Shelton, and like he's the more of the baby face kind of guy. So I'm like, I kind of like, you're bigger than me, but like I kind of still got to put a bit of heat on you. I'll make it make sense.
Yeah.
And then there, like NXT style is go.
Right.
And I'm on him, and he's like, get off me. And afterwards he's like, dude, I'll selfie. Like, chill out. And I'm like, that's okay.
That's amazing.
We'd get all these like ex-football players and stuff like that who were told like, keep moving, keep doing this, and you run heat on, you have to push the shit out.
Right,
like, you have to stay on them. You gas. Everyone just gasses out.
Yeah.
So more power to the people who can keep up with that style and that. But then just wrestling, more pro wrestling, stuff like that. And then we did what we could with Retribution, and then that ended, and I was stuck in limbo.
They had you in an Outback Jack type gimmick, right?
So my Dijak would always just be like, just be Steve Earle. Be what
Okay.
Be what the old man wants you to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what, like Australian. I'm like, no, I'm Australian, and that's embarrassing to us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck it, Australia's not paying my paycheck.
Right.
Yeah. I want to make money, and like it's a fucking. And so I kind of blended that with more of a mine worker. So in Australia, especially West Coast Australia, we have a lot of mine sites and stuff like that. So that's why it had the blue. The shorts were the same brand that my dad used to work when he used to work on the iron ore company. So it was less of a Steve Irwin-y kind of thing, and more of like a iron ore country town kind of thing, which I grew up doing.
Yeah.
So I tried it, and it would have made money. I guarantee it would have made money.
But they never really gave it time.
No, it's just they had other things coming, and like we just got stuck in it. Like, we're thinking these colors and that color. We're talking about colors. What name do you want to have? And they're like, what name do we want you to have? Because they didn't want two Shanes.
Right.
And I'm like, call me whatever, man. Call me Jack Bundy or whatever. Jack Bundy? That's not a good name. I was like, Dundee. I was going to say, not Dundee. I can't be Dundee.
You can't be Jack Dundee either.
Yeah. But then you're going to cut my name in half anyway. And
right.
It doesn't matter. Like, I'm just here to have a good time. I'll make other people look great. And make some money on merch and shit. But, you just get caught up in that. As soon as you get caught up in that, you're just stuck.
Yeah. When the call came and they said, all right, well, we don't have anything else for you.
Yeah.
How much did that hurt?
It's fucking weight off my shoulders, man.
Okay,
like, because everyone at that time, like, especially this was coming to the end of the year where they'd already done so many layoffs.
Yeah.
It's just you're waiting every day. You're just sitting by the phone, like, it's gonna call.
Yeah.
And so it's just a relief because, like, I was pretty miserable, and like you'll see, like you'll talk to them, they were miserable in WWE, making great money.
Yeah.
And you're miserable, and you're like, well, I can't walk away. Like financially, it'd be irresponsible for me to walk away from this money.
Yeah.
Getting to my mid-30s at the time, I'm like, I can't afford to walk away from this because I know there's not this money anywhere else.
Right.
At the time, there wasn't quite. So when they took the choice out of my hands, and I was like, all right, man. Like it was Johnny Ace, and I was like, no, I totally understand, man. Thank you for the call. Like Johnny Ace and I were always good together. dinosaur a little bit. But yeah, it's like, hey man, so we just don't have anything creative for you. Which I always thought, like, well, I gave you creative ideas, so maybe you should fire the people who don't have the creative stuff.
For
but
sure.
They also do.
Yeah.
Those people, like.
Well, I mean, so many good talents have been laid off even recently, and it's just you kind of wonder, like, obviously they know what they're doing, but at the same time, it's like I feel like they're missing out on a lot of people.
There is, but then they've got a lot of people too. Like the PC, the NXT is full of like young new people, so I get it. You gotta get the old out and bring the new in. Like,
and then they bring back the old though.
Yeah, but I mean, like they're usually the older guys.
Yeah.
Who already have something like
That's
following. So I get it. Like I wasn't doing anything. Like it was obviously not my choice. I wasn't doing anything, so it's not hard feelings.
The schedule you have now, you're working with New Japan Strong. You're doing a lot of indies out here in Southern California. Some indies in California.
Book me, Jesus.
Book them.
Book me. What are you doing?
What about? Well, and I know you were working with Dave, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, friends of the show.
Yep.
What? I guess the question is, like, obviously New Japan Strong, where they're running, that's a place for you. And you, Mike, you were the tag champions. I was there, by the way. Sorry to see you lose.
For a good week. Yeah.
I felt like they should have done more with you guys as the champions. And somebody slid into my DMs like, don't worry, Shane and Mike, you're going to win the IWGP tag titles. I'm like, book it, dude. Make it happen.
Sure.
Make it happen.
Dude, like last year, I think I had eight or nine different tag title shots and lost all of them. And that's the thing, like, that's, you know, it's a testament. Same as when I first debuted my first year of wrestling, I lost every single match.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter if we win. And it doesn't matter. Like, it's a very nice thing to get a title and stuff like that, but it's a prop to move the story forward.
Right.
It does, like, it is nice to win them, like, and have that recognition, but it also is, I take that as a testament to me and Mike that they can throw us in so many title matches, and it doesn't, like, we wrestled Bishamon three title matches against them.
Yeah.
And each one people liked. So I'm like, okay, doesn't matter. Like,
is it in New Japan? You've had a lot of tag partners between, Jonah Bronson or Tito and Mikey, of course.
Yeah.
Any preference on who you team with, or does it really matter?
I think me and Mike have real good. We have like a lot of moves, so we know what to do with each other, things like that. Zach's very good at putting matches together, and he's over, so you don't have to do anything. He's over. Tito and I have great riz. You know what I mean? Like, and we don't do any tag team moves together, but we just have good banter of being weird guys.
I'm trying to put you over right now, but I have to say this about Tito. That dude, I've watched him for a very long time, but I feel like he's getting that overnight success treatment. It just took him like 15 years to get there.
A very slow overnight. Like,
right.
He's still not getting, like, he's not snatched up somewhere more. But I'm glad, I'm glad for his success. Getting used. Like, he's great for every show. He looks like a wrestler, and there's that noises.
Yeah, turn it all the way up.
Well, I think that's going to conclude the interview.
Yeah, fair, man.
Hey, I appreciate your time, man.
No problem.
We thank you for tuning into the Alliance Blog Podcast, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you won't miss any future episodes? We'd also like to remind you that we do a live stream every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on YouTube at The Alliance Blog. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, TikTok, and Twitch. Until next time, we are The Alliance.